In the present video, we will discuss the determination of various floats and the slog times. First, we will discuss the total float. The amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying the overall project completion time is called as the total float. In the simple terms, total float is the extra time available for an activity before it starts affecting the total project duration. For example, if an activity should be finished on day 10, but it can finish as late as day 13 without delaying the project, then total float is the 3 days. So the activity can be delayed by 3 days safely without affecting the project completion. Mathematically, the total float of an activity ij is the difference between the latest start time and earliest start time of that activity. So total float for the ij activity Tfij equal to the Lsij minus Esij, which means total float of an activity ij equal to the latest start time of ij activity minus earliest start time of the ij activity. So mathematically we can be represent total float Tf equal to the Lj minus Ei minus Tij, where Lj is the latest time for the head event j and Ei is the earliest time for the tail event I, and Tij is the normal time of the activity ij. Next we will discuss the free float. Free float is the amount of time an activity can be delayed after its earliest finish time without delaying the earliest start time of the next activity. In the simple terms, free float is the extra time an activity can be delayed without affecting the next activity in the project. So let's see the simple example. Here activities A, B, C, D is there, and duration is the for activity A 4 days, for activity B 3 days, for activity C 5 days, and for the activity D 2 days. And let's consider activity A is the starting activity. There is no predecessor activity. For the activity B and C, activity A is the predecessor activity, and for the activity D, B and C are the predecessor activity. So let's draw the network diagram. So this is the network diagram, and here, so these are the earliest start time and earliest finish time of the all the activities. So for the activity A, so it is the starting activity. So start time is the 0 and finish time, earliest finish time is the 0 plus 4, which is the 4. And for the activity B, start time is the 4 and finish time 4 plus 3 7. For activity C, start time is the 4, 4 plus 5 9 is the finish time. Similarly for the activity D, so 9 is the start time and 11 is the finish time. So here for the activity B, I have to observe the activity B. So earliest finish time is the 7, and for the activity B, next activity, it will be D is the next activity. So earliest start time of the next activity is the 9. So here D is the next activity for the activity B, and earliest start time of the activity D is the 9. So which means here activity B can be delayed by 2 days without delaying the activity D. So if an activity finishes earlier than the next activity starts, the extra time is called as the free float. So for here free float for the activity B is the 2 days. So next we have to see the mathematically the free float for activity ij. It is denoted by the FFIJ and it can be calculated by the FFIJ. So free float of the activity ij equal to the EJ minus EI minus of Tij. Next we will discuss the independent float. Independent float is the amount of time an activity can be delayed without delaying the next activity, assuming the previous activity finishes at its latest finish time. So in the simple terms, independent float is the extra time available for activity when both the conditions are considering. First condition is previous activity finishes as late as possible. Second condition is next activity starts as early as possible. So mathematically independent float is the for any activity ij, it is denoted by IFIJ. Then IFIJ equal to the EJ minus LI minus Tij. So one more thing you have to remember. So negative independent float is always you have to considering the zero value. Next we have to see the relationship between the total float, free float and the independent float. So we know the mathematical formulas for the total float TF, free float FF and the independent float IF. So there is the relation. So IF is independent float always less than or equal to the free float, and free float also always less than or equal to the total float. So this relation is very important for the competitive exam point of view. So next we have to discuss about the event slacks. Slack is defined as the difference between the latest and earliest event time. So mathematically for an activity ij, head event slack equal to the Lj minus Ej. Similarly for the tail event slack is the Li minus Ei. So this is the discussion regarding the various floats and the slack times. Thank you.